whether personal or political, local or international. It is a platform for us to build from, so the community can grow to be strong. To the host, Raymond Dugue, Michael Duncan, two of our honorary humanitarian. It's real and it not bogus. Stand against those who stand against us. When situation rough and get tedious, get tedious, get tedious. Community focus, community focus. Community, yo, we have to adjust. Community focus, community focus. Ask the Almighty, Him will guide us. Community focus, community focus. Live up.
Marcus, can the words come to pass? Marcus, can the words come to pass? Can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh, can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh, come, little one, oh, let me do what I can for you. And you, hello. Come, little one, come. Oh, let me do what I can for you alone. Oh, you know the right hand to it now. Shall be
yes, brothers and sisters. Yes, a very good evening to each and every one of you. It's an honor to be here. Good night, good night, good night, good night. I trust all is well. We're here in Africa. I'm in Liberia. It was a very busy day today in Liberia. Everything has worked out well. As most of you know, we're dealing with an election here where the presidential election, the runoff section of it, was held today, Tuesday, and elections are over. Most of the votes are being counted. We probably don't get confirmation until maybe Wednesday, but by tomorrow we should start getting most of the numbers. But from all indications, it seems as if our president, George Mane Weah, will again win the presidency of Liberia. It was an exciting weekend or last couple of weeks since the general election where over 20 people participated and no one was able to secure 50% plus one vote. Therefore, it forced the two top candidates, President George Weah and former Vice President Boakai, into a runoff for this seat for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. Brothers and sisters, I can't begin to tell you, it was an exciting day for the last 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. We have been counting votes, not officially. However, we were in the room where people are sending in the tally sheets from all over the country, the various counties, the various cities, districts of the votes and how people did. And as I said, from what we have seen so far, we believe President Weah will be crowned the next president of Liberia. And it's a wonderful thing to see the brother. The brother wants to make a difference. He served 6 years before, and within those 6 years, he was able to make some significant changes, especially in the format of the infrastructure. You have to realize that there are some places that you have to drive 12, 13, 14 hours to get to the major city, which is Monrovia. But if all was equal, and if this place, the roads were properly built and constructed, a place that's taking 12, 13, 14 hours, maybe would just take 6 or 7 hours. So it's a great thing when you have someone who sees the future and willing to make a difference by improving on the roads. Because for you to bring a difference in agriculture, for you to be able to have people being able to bring their products or services to the major cities and or to and from the major cities to other places, you need proper roads. And it's a good thing that the president has invested an enormous amount of resources in the buildings of the roads, the highways that can connect you to the major cities. Being here for the last week has just been amazing. The campaigning, I've never seen so many people come out for president as a presidential candidate before, and the way in which they do it, and the love for their leader, the love for the politician who's actually representing them. It has just been an amazing week, seeing how people are fighting for the person that they believe in and the person who they want to serve them again. And it's a good thing because President Weir is an indigenous Liberian. And you have to realize that for 171 years, the indigenous people of Liberia, they were oppressed, and they were oppressed severely. They could not do certain things. This country here, the first set of brothers and sisters who they call were enslaved in the United States. They came to this region in 1822. The boat, when it first passed, went on to Sierra Leone. And for some reason, they were not accepted there in Sierra Leone. So this boat, carrying hundreds of so-called freed enslaved people from the United States, turned back, made a U-turn, and they landed in Liberia. Amazingly, they landed on an island called Providence Island. And brothers and sisters, it's amazing that the brothers and sisters who were taken away from here 400 years ago, when they came back 200 years ago, they landed on Providence Island. That's where they landed, and they start making a difference there. 1822, and ultimately they were able to relax, spend a few months. But before you know it, the US government saw the importance of Liberia and wanted to make a colony here. So what they did, after a while, they start sending their half-breed to oversee this place, to see the possibilities, to see if they were able to set up a colony here. So they did send their people, their offspring, their children to be the monitors of this place and our people. For them, so amazingly, as I mentioned to you before, that 500 years ago, when they took our brothers and sisters from Liberia, the exact location they took them from, which was Providence Island, that's where they also landed back 200 years ago. Um, and they landed there and established a small colony, establish relationships. Unfortunately, when the slave master children came, they actually tried to forcibly take the lands from our people, the indigenous people who were here, and they created what is now Liberia back in 1849, and it has been a colony since. Basically speaking, Monrovia, which is the capital city, was named after the US President James Monroe. So you can see the influence. But brothers and sisters, they install, as I said, their slave master children, and they refer to them as the Americo Liberians. Again, to be specific, the Americo Liberians. And since independence until now, the Americo Liberians have not treated our people properly. They treated the indigenous people just as bad, if not worse, than the slave master treated us. But then again, their slave master father had trained them well and trained them to govern over a place like Liberia for them. So I'm not I'm amazed that they would treat our people in that from independence or even from when they got here until now. And it never stopped. It never stopped. Our people here are not able to breathe. They're not able to develop. A lot of them are not able to build a sound foundation because of the oppressive system they were under here. And even the US government, they have a lot of control over this here country. But brothers and sisters, as we talk about all the time, for our African countries to be free, we as a people must create that base for them to stand on. We can't say that we want great leaders. However, we're not willing to sacrifice and create the environment for great leaders. We can't say we want people to represent us, but we have not given them the support to represent us. We as a people, especially us Africans who reside in the United States, we must never forget that Africa is our home. Africa must be our guiding star, our stars of destiny. And it doesn't matter where on the continent, the entire Africa is ours. I may be in Liberia, but someone else may choose to be in Ghana or in Ethiopia or in Zimbabwe or South Africa. But Africa is ours. And the sooner we understand that and take responsibility to make Africa strong, brothers and sisters, you and I, each and every one of us, we have a responsibility to make Africa strong, to make Africa work for all Africans. You know, the 12 commandments of Black consciousness teaches us we must develop our home, Africa, land of origin, for without a home, we cannot flourish to our fullest potential. We can't, and we will not be able to until we organize ourselves, starting with the Africans who live in the United States, and build a sound foundation that we can take parts of that foundation we have built in the US and bring it here to Africa, establishing a base for Africans all over. We're going to continue to see people abusing our people all over the continent of Africa. Outsiders who don't have the interest of Africa will always choose to use and to abuse our people. But my thing is, what are we going to do about it? As I said, these brothers and sisters in Liberia went through that process from 1822 until now. If we even want Liberia was established, you have to realize that Liberia was established as a haven for the Black man. Liberia was created for Black man to flourish. Right now in Liberia, only if you're a Black person, you can buy land. You cannot buy land if you're not Black. It's the law here. It's written in the Constitution. Liberia was built as a haven for the Black man to come and to build and to organize and to flourish again. But the Black man didn't take advantage of the possibilities that Liberia created for us. You have to realize that Marcus Garvey chose to come to Liberia at that time because it was the best place. It was only one of two freed places in Africa. The second was Ethiopia. So Marcus Garvey chose to come here, and Marcus Garvey had planned on building that super city in Liberia, which would serve as the base, as the turning point for Africa. Construction was supposed to start in the early 1920s. However, as you know, because of the powers that be, things did not work out as were planned by Marcus Garvey, the UNIA, and our ancestors. However, brothers and sisters, what man have done, man can do, and we can do it again. We carry the responsibilities of our ancestors where we stand on their shoulders. And even with everything that our people went through, they're still here. They're still fighting. They're still trying. They're doing the best that they know. And they're waiting for us to come and help them, us to come and work with them to build that base that we can see Africa as our guiding star and our stars of destiny. Prior to Marcus Garvey sending pioneers here, he made sure that he instructed them that when we do arrive in Liberia, we would not be treating our brothers and sisters in the same manner that our predecessors, our predecessors who came here back in 1822, we wouldn't be treating our people like the way they were treating them, because we're Africans, Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. And Mr. Garvey made it clear as to how we were going to deal with our people, how we were going to build with our people and make a difference. Brothers and sisters, it's here. Liberia is still here. And what our brothers and sisters have been through here because of the leadership and under the leadership of the Americo-Liberians, it has not been easy. To be exact, it has been difficult for our brothers and sisters to see their way out for the last 171 years. The last 6 years have been a reprieve for these people where they have seen an indigenous person like themselves have become the first democratically elected indigenous person here in Liberia. Some could argue Samuel Doe, but Samuel Doe took power by force. George Weah was elected and elected by the people. It was an honor for the people to see someone of their own caliber, as they would say, a small boy, brought up in the streets of Liberia and come into his own and is able to represent them as their head of state. It means a lot to these people here. But brothers and sisters, to take this to the next level, we're going to need an influx of Africans coming in from the diaspora, investing in countries like Ghana and Liberia to make a difference. Liberia is prime for business. It was made, as I said, as a haven for the Black man. And this was the country that we should have relocated to, we should have built, and we should have controlled. And if that had happened, if Marcus Garvey and the UNIA were allowed to land here, the situation we're seeing here in Liberia and the rest of Africa would be a different story being told today if that happened. But we have to realize, brothers and sisters, all is not lost. We're still here. We're still here, brothers and sisters. We have the Black Prince that Mr. Garvey left for us to do the work for the Black man. Africa is calling, and Africa is calling her sons and daughters to come back and build Africa. We were taken all over the world to see things, to understand things, and to learn. We were enslaved all over the world, but we made the best of our situations. And now we're still here. We're still progressing. The system that was applied, it was applied to have us disappear. But as the Jamaicans would say, the Black man is a hard man for dead. But I'm saying, you lick him down, you pick him up, and bounce right back. He's a hard man for dead. So, brothers and sisters, we still have that role, it's a role to play. And Africa is calling. We're going to link up with our brothers and sisters all over Africa. But the base we're starting with the base that Mr. Garvey instructed us to start with here in Liberia to make that difference. Brothers and sisters, Liberia played such an important role in society. They spend so much time developing certain economies all over the world. Brothers and sisters, when the slavers decided to come to Africa and take our brothers and sisters into slavery, and when they thought about Liberia, when they investigated the area, they realized that the best rice at that time was being grown here. they eventually dubbed it as the Rice Coast because part of Liberia, Ivory Coast, and of course Guinea, where they were joined right there, they use it as the Rice Coast. And those slavers, when they came here and they captured our brothers and sisters from this region specifically to take to North and South Carolinas to grow rice in the United States. So these slavers, they knew exactly what they were doing. They needed our brothers and sisters, our ancestors, to teach them how to farm, to teach them how to eat, to teach them how to grow the food to sustain them and their systems. So, brothers and sisters, we paid a strong price, but even after the price that we paid, we are still here. And as I said, with this system that Mr. Garvey spoke about X amount of years ago, this is 2023. We were expecting that most of that large city should have been constructed by 1924 because it was in the early 1918, 1919 that Mr. Garvey was doing the negotiation with Liberia. And Mr. Garvey had sent pioneers with equipment for research and development and to finalize the plots that we were going to build on. Mr. Garvey had secured 4 plots. The major one, which was Firestone, the area in which Firestone is located today. That's one of the places that he had secured. But I'm going to hold it right there. It's that time of the evening we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will tell you more about the plan for Firestone, what transpired, and where we are right now. Brothers and sisters, chance has never yet satisfied the hopes of a suffering people, but it is through careful planning, organizing, and building a self-reliant base that, of course, is based in race first that we will be able to make a difference. Brothers and sisters, we want you to hold it there. Community Focus will be right back. Thank you.
My people, shop at The Rock.
The wait is over. What started out as a vision is now reality.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. The Federation of African Caribbean American Restaurant Association is ready. Come and
shop at The Rock.
13205 Merrick Boulevard, inside of Belknap Street.
You need to save money for all your breadfruits, yellow yam, bami, Scotch bonnet pepper, plantains, bananas, all your fish and meat product. Come to The Rock. Wholesale price every day.
This is Dubmaster Chris, and I'm endorsing The Rock, the Restaurant Owners Corporation, inside of Belknap Street. Bring your shopping basket and shop till you drop. Save yourself some money and shop at The Rock.
Jamaica Breeze Buffet Restaurant, where it's Thanksgiving every day. Choose from 60 of our best dishes, featuring breakfast all day and a wide selection of Jamaican and Southern style favorites. At Jamaica Breeze, you choose what you want and pay what you want. Don't forget to try our juicy beef and chicken patties. And remember, we also accept Jamaican dollars. Jamaica Breeze now has 2 Queens locations. Our original store at 23202 Merrick Boulevard at the corner of 232nd Street in Laurelton, and our new location at 2136 Mott Avenue at the corner of Redfern Avenue in Far Rockaway. Visit us today and come hungry. You won't be disappointed.
To go back home, this couldn't be my home, it must be somewhere else, or I would kill myself, 'cause can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to go back home. If I've got to walk, I've got to go back home. If I've got to sing, I've got to go back home. There is no gladness, nothing but sadness, nothing like a future here. I've got to leave this land. I've got to find myself on some other side. I just can't stand this life of living. Lord, I can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to go back home. Even if I got to walk, I've got to go back home. Even if I got to fly, I've got to go back home.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to the Community Focus. Baba, as the brother said, I've got to go back home. Yes, can't get no food to eat, can't get no clothes to wear, can't get a job in this place. So, brothers and sisters, why are we tarrying? Things are so hard for us. Why are we tarrying? We are being killed left and right. Why are we tarrying? We have to be convincing these people that Black life matter. Why are we tarrying? Africa is waiting for us. Why are we tarrying? Africa must be our guiding star. Why are we tarrying? Africa must be our stars of destiny. Why are we tarrying? Mr. Garvey left the Black Prince for us. Why are we tarrying? Brothers and sisters, I must go back home. We always have to go back home. Home, Africa is waiting for you. The land of origin, brothers and sisters, is waiting for you. Let us build an empire that the world will see, and those who fail to see, we must let them feel. Brothers and sisters, Africa again must be our stars of destiny. We just visited Kenya. We were able to visit the land where time began, which is Ethiopia. Brother Raymond is currently in South Africa. I visited Ghana after we left Ethiopia, and currently I'm in Liberia. Brothers and sisters, our next trip, where each and every one of you will get the opportunity to come back home, is February. We'll leave February 16th to Ghana. We will fly directly from Kennedy into Ghana. We will spend a week in Ghana where we will explore the whole situation there. We will see what transpired in Accra, learn the city, tour the city and learn more about the city. We will visit the Black Star Square, where the Black Star is posted in honor of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey by the powers of Kwame Nkrumah. We will visit the Kwame Nkrumah Center. We will touch the whole city and learn about the whole city. Then we will go to the Kumasi area, which is the Asante area, and we will learn about our Asante history. We will also learn about the history of the Asante Henny Prempeh I, who the British kidnapped him from Asante land in Kumasi and took him to Seychelles Islands for 28 years, where they forced Christianity upon him. And only after they were convinced that they made him a good Christian, did they return him back to Asanteland so he could teach his people about their God and their way of life. Brothers and sisters, then you will also get a chance to get your name. Whichever day of the week you are born, you will be given that name in the Asante Kingdom. My name is Kweku because I was born on a Wednesday. You will get your name based on the day of the week that you were born. Brothers and sisters, then we will move on. And when we move on, you will get a chance to see the last bath. That's the location where after they kidnapped our people and they had them walking for about 4, 5, 600 miles, depending on where they were captured, then they took them to that place for them to take their last bath. And they allowed them to bathe themselves, because after that, they were taken to Cape Coast and or Elmina dungeon, where they were sold into slavery with the hopes of them never seeing Mama Africa again. So, brothers and sisters, you can join us. You can join us for this trip. You can join us for an experience of a lifetime. When you visit the dungeons, what you're going to be amazed at is that after seeing the atrocities that were committed in these dungeons, on top of the dungeons, you have churches where these people were operating, where you have pastors, you have reverends, you have deacons, you have rabbis who were all praying to their God to bring in more of our brothers and sisters, for them to benefit from bringing them into slavery. So you will see for yourself. Then we will depart Ghana after a few days, after a week to be exact, and we will head to Liberia. And when we head to Liberia, you will be greeted by UNIA members here, and you will be greeted with just fun and joy and VIP services. You will get the chance to visit the Providence Island, which I told you that we were taken away from that island 500 years ago. And amazingly, 200 years ago when we came back, that's the place where we landed. So you will get an opportunity to see it. You will get an opportunity to see Firestone, the location that Mr. Garvey was going to build, that big, gigantic city. You will get a chance to meet the president and the first lady and have lunch with them. So it will be a wonderful trip. While we're in Ghana, we will do a day trip to Togo. So we will visit another country while we're in Ghana. And while we're in Liberia, we will get an opportunity to visit Guinea as well. So on our 2-country trip, you will actually get the possibility of seeing and visiting 4 countries in total. So, brothers and sisters, it's time for you to come back home. If you want more information, you can reach out to The Rock. You can stop by and see Sister Keisha, or you can call 718-906-8920. 718-906-8920. If you're interested in going, you have to book, you have to reserve now. So, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. Each and every one of us, we represent an ancestors whose spirit was taken away from Africa, and we have that responsibility to bring that spirit back. We have that authority to bring the spirit back and walk back through the so-called door of no return, which has been dubbed now the door of return. So it's your chance to return your spirit of our ancestors back to the continent. So, brothers and sisters, it has been a tough time for Africans here, even after our people landed here over 200 years ago on Providence Island. I told you Marcus Garvey made that plan for that big, gigantic city in Liberia, which among 4 locations, Firestone was supposed to be the main location because Mr. Garvey, the UN and the UNIA and our ancestors had secured, contracted, rather, to secure 1 million acres of land. And on that 1 million acres of land was going to be the first African super city in Liberia, which it was going to have schools, it was going to have universities, it was going to have all types of business, hotel, everything you can think of. That great city was going to be a portion with, set up with, build with, organized with. So it's from that city that everything was going to be built. And of course, there were going to be a Liberty Farm scheduled to be in that great city and also in those other 4 locations, no, rather 3 for a total of 4 locations. We were going to have a Liberty Farm at each location. But brothers and sisters, you know what happened. You know what happened. Mr. Garvey contracted for 1 million acres. 1 million acres. However, Garvey and Garveyism threatened the cornerstone, the pillars of 3 major empires, the US, England, and France. England and France, they got paranoid. They reached out to the USA and begged the USA under no circumstance must they allow Mr. Garvey to land in Liberia, because Great Britain realized that if Mr. Garvey and the UNIA landed here, their time in Sierra Leone would be numbered. They would be gone. France realized if Mr. Garvey and the UNIA landed here, their time in Guinea and Ivory Coast would be gone. They know they would be disposed of. Therefore, they planned against Mr. Garvey. They planned to stop him by any means necessary. And what they did, they got even people like W.E. Du Bois to play a role in stopping the plan that Mr. Garvey had. And ultimately, they were able to slow down the plan, but the plan has not been stopped, because even if it takes, brothers and sisters, 1 million years, the sins of our enemies shall visit the 1,000,000th generation of those who hinder and oppress us. And while we're here, and while we still have the Black Prince that Mr. Garvey left, that great city will be built in Liberia. Each and every one of us, we have a role to play, brothers and sisters, and we're building it for all Africans, home and abroad, those Africans who are here and those Africans who want to come home to Africa. Ultimately, brothers and sisters, I have to let you know that Mr. Garvey had offered the Liberian government a loan of $5 million, of which he had given them the initial deposit, and they had prepared a contract. But because of the fear of the powers that be, those 3 major empires. Because of the fear, they had to stop Mr. Garvey. So they had leaders, W.E.B. Du Bois and others, who came to the government of Liberia and persuaded them not to allow Mr. Garvey to land here, persuaded them to renege on the deal that they made with Mr. Garvey and the UNIA. They ultimately worked out a loan for Liberia, that $5 million loan. But brothers and sisters, at an interest rate that was astronomical, and Liberia was indebted to Firestone, where Firestone basically controlled their treasury because of that loan and the high interest rate. From 1923 until almost 1960, Liberia was indebted to Firestone. Moreover, brothers and sisters, for the 1 million acres Mr. Garvey had contracted to pay Liberia $1 per acre. Brothers and sisters, the powers that be forced Liberia to accept 6 cents an acre from Firestone instead of the $1 per acre offered by Mr. Garvey and the UNIA. Brothers and sisters, you can only imagine if our plans were not circumvented, were not stalled. Imagine what Liberia would be like today. Imagine what Africa would be like today. We would be controlling our own destiny. We would be making a big difference all over the world. The things that we're experiencing as African people would not be a problem, brothers and sisters. So as I said, 6 cents per acre versus $1 per acre. Just imagine if that school, if the universities, if the economic development that Mr. Garvey was bringing here, the industries, also the agricultural development as far as Liberty Farm. But brothers and sisters, to show you that all is not dead, a big part of Mr. Garvey's plan was agriculture. And the plan for agriculture was supposed to be organized under a farm, which was supposed to be one of the first economic ventures which would have been created here in Liberia, would be Liberty Farm. And brothers and sisters, Liberty Farm, as organized by Mr. Garvey and planned out, would have grown all our foods, raised all our chickens, goats, whatever we needed to raise. Those things were going to be done on Liberty Farm. But brothers and sisters, just think about it. It's not all lost. After all these years, brothers and sisters, we now have Liberty Farm in Liberia, not too far from where Firestone is located. Liberty Farm is growing fruits and vegetables. Liberty Farm is building a strong base that we must stand on. Brothers and sisters, if each and every one of us commit ourselves and play a role, we can make it. We can build it. We can do exactly what the black prints that are laid out by Mr. Garvey, we can do it again. But brothers and sisters, for anything faith worthy to happen, each and every one of us must play a role. What we can do, brothers and sisters, to help in this process, help the rock. Go spend at the rock. Support the rock every minute you get a chance, because some of the products that we will be producing here in Liberia will go to the rock. Be it the Gary, be it the Bami, be it the cassava, the whatever we need or whatever we can grow. Pineapple juice, pineapple slices, banana chips, banana flour, plantain chips, plantain flour. These are some of the things we're going to be able to produce, brothers and sisters. So all is not lost. Everything is still here. But brothers and sisters, you can also visit Liberty Farm and see for yourself. And what we would like to do is each and every one of us who visit Liberty Farm, we want you to plant a tree, plant a fruit tree, and you can see it grow over the next 5, 10, 15 years as Liberty Farm grows and as Black people grow and as our self-reliant economic base. So brothers and sisters, if you haven't planned to do so, please book your trip for Africa in February, tour Ghana, and then you finish up in Liberia and you get a chance to see Providence Island. You get a chance to visit Firestone. You get a chance to plant your fruit tree on Liberty Farm and watch it grow, brothers and sisters. Watch us build a new city. Watch us make Mr. Garvey's dream here in Liberia a reality. Brothers and sisters, you can stop at the Rock to secure your space on the February trip. You can stop by the Rock, see Sister Keisha, or you can call 718-906-8920. Brothers and sisters, the time is now. The time is now, not tomorrow. The time is now. We're seeing where the stars have lined up for us. Under the last administration 6 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to do the things that we want to do. And under the leadership of George Weah, we were able to come into Liberia and we were able to organize ourselves and organize the people and help to build the people. We were organizing on fertile soil. And when I say fertile soil, I mean the mindset of our people and also the earth itself. So when the stars have aligned themselves, and when the stars have given us an opportunity, we must take advantage of that opportunity and take care of it now. For example, George Weah is the current president, and most likely within a few days, he will be confirmed. It is not official, but more than likely, he will be confirmed as the next president. With that also, it gives us an opportunity to grow and build here. But brothers and sisters, we must act now. And all we're seeking to do is to build an environment that can help our people, can assist our people, and create the temperature here where brothers and sisters who want to live in Africa can live, where they don't have to feel that Africa is some kind of taboo place where we should not be visiting. We have tilled the soil and create the platform that you can come and set stone here. You can come and build a base brothers and sisters, if you're retiring, sometime living in the States, it's so difficult to live on a retirement income. You need to put Africa as an option where with your retirement dollars, you can live as a queen or king in Africa with the dollars you have for your retirement, wherein you would be struggling in the United States to live with those reduced retirement income. So, brothers and sisters, after 200 years, these people chose an indigenous person 6 years ago, and he has gone through a lot because the power structure, who still view themselves as Americo-Liberian, they don't want a so-called local boy to be their president. But the gods have aligned themselves and they have chosen this brother who is the pulse of the people. He's the heart of the people. He is the dream of the people. So, brothers and sisters, for him to serve, we need a strong core of unity that we are going to keep solid, that it must know no boundary, no political machination, no disunity, no boundary. Brothers and sisters, we're going to build an empire here in Africa that the sun will never set on. It will always shine. Each and every one of you, you have a role to play. So, brothers and sisters, if you haven't joined up now. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. Brothers and sisters, again, stop by the Rock, see Sister Keisha, give her a call, 718-906-8920. Join our ranks. Be a part of history. Come to Liberia and plant a tree. Plant your own tree and watch it grow. Watch it grow. Plant your own tree and watch it make a difference in our society. Plant your tree, brothers and sisters. Plant your tree. Plant your tree. Plant your tree. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters. All good things must come to an end. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight on the Community Focus Radio. Brothers and sisters, remember, this is our platform. Please help us to promote it and build it. This is the platform that we're using to communicate with brothers and sisters in the USA, brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa. We have people listening in Liberia, in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Ethiopia. We have people who are listening. So, brothers and sisters, as the new year comes around, Community Focus here, our UNIA Rock Media, we will have 24 hours worth of programming. If you're able to do a show yourself, you can let us know as well. But brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us again tonight. And remember, one God, one aim, one destiny. Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. Race first, and good night.
The Community Focus Show is brought to you by Jamaica Breeze.
Rally round the red.